We have a quorum of 29. If you'd like to call the meeting to order, it's all yours.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for attending tonight's meeting, annual meeting. I know Mark's excited. He's been working diligently all season long to deliver these this gift to you. So I want to call the meeting for the November 14th, 2020 annual meeting of the Shrewsbury Media Connection members. And first order of business, I guess, is to approve the minutes of the November 16th, 2020 meeting. Has everyone had a chance to peruse those? We have meetings, minutes?
You do?
All right.
I'd make that motion.
I'll second
All right.
that.
Second? Anybody?
Yes.
Second?
Perfect. Very good. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Aye.
Perfect. So voted. All right, I'm going to pass this on to Mark. Everyone's waiting, bated breath for the year in review. Take it away, Mark.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. I was going to make a joke about having a tie on and shaving because it usually is like the one day of the year that you can guarantee I do that. But normally this would be an in-person event. We used to have food and fun, and so we'll try to have a little fun, and hopefully you have your own food. So I'm going to try to share my screen here. Hopefully this works. Okay, can you all see that?
Yes.
All right, well, welcome to our 2020 annual meeting. This is the first annual meeting of SMC Inc. Our bylaws stated that the first annual meeting would be in October of 2020, but because of the pandemic and the safety around that, we were holding off as long as we could, but realized that in person was never going to be a reality this year. So here we are doing it virtually. I would just like to take a minute and acknowledge the passing of Paul Weaver and John McDonald. I'm sure a lot of you knew them. Both were longtime employees of SMC, and they worked for the SGTV government access side, covering government meetings. And John McDonald, though, has also been a producer and has been around for nearly 30 years. And Paul Weaver had been around here about 20 years, also producing. Unfortunately, Mr. Weaver passed away at the height of the pandemic, or I should say the start, when there were no in-person services. So we never got to pay our respects to him. But John McDonald, they did have an in-person service. And so I just wanted to take a second to at least acknowledge their passing in case anyone hadn't heard of that. So here I'd like to start off with our statement of mission and purpose. Shrewsbury Media Connection is a nonprofit membership-based organization which is governed by the SMC Board of Directors, which is dedicated to providing video, audio, and media production tools to build community, empower individuals, and ensure First Amendment expression through the utilization and access to evolving communication technologies for public education and government programming. So to this end, we will provide the community with a state-of-the-art facility and equipment. We will aid and educate community members to achieve their public access programming goals. We encourage producers to continually develop their technical and aesthetic skills. We'll implement outreach to all segments of the community, encouraging individuals and organizations to create diversified programming that expresses their unique perspectives. And we'll also advocate the creation of programming that supports the free exchange of ideas and encourage public discourse. And we'll try to be a leader in all mediums surrounding PEG access. At the core of SMC's philosophy are 3 values outlined here. All employees and members are asked to support these values through the pursuit of their expression, freedom of speech, and development of skills and ideas. So commitment. SMC commits to providing an electronic platform for freedom of speech, which includes the free exchange of information and ideas. Community. SMC will provide coverage of Shrewsbury municipal meetings, school committee meetings, and Shrewsbury news and events in order to keep the community informed about happenings, politics, educational events. And we aim to represent every facet of the community across all demographics and in an inclusive environment. Collaborate. SMC will collaborate with Shrewsbury serving nonprofits and businesses in order to enrich the community through informational programming, family-oriented events, and educational opportunities. So I'd like to just give you a quick recap of how we got to where we are today. And this is by no means a full scope, but I just want to give you a little bit of a flavor of what has happened. So it was 2016 when Selco and the town approached us and basically didn't leave us much of a choice. We were told that we needed to separate and form a nonprofit entity. So in August of 2018, SMC Inc. filed articles of incorporation. The initial incorporators consisted of Peter Collins, Catherine Shepard, and John Samia. In August of 2018, Alden Harris and Brian Wu were appointed to the board. There is a clause in our bylaw that allows the selectmen to appoint 1 member to the board and for the school committee to appoint 1 member to the board. Alden Harris is the selectman appointee and Brian Wu is the school department appointee. So early in 2019, John Samia needed to step down because he was running for selectman, and Nick Tedisco was approached and appointed to fill John's term. Mr. Tedisco did not seek reappointment, and Peter Lapriori was appointed to the open seat in November of 2020. SMC bylaws state that the board of directors can expand by up to 2 members by vote of the membership at the 2020 annual meeting. So I say more on that later, but you will actually be asked to vote on 2 new members later in our meeting. On January 1st, 2019, SMC Inc. took full control of the day-to-day operations. By an agreement, the employees remained Selco employees for 2019 and were effectively leased by SMC from Selco. In December of 2019, SMC Inc. files Form 1023, seeking to be designated as a qualified 501c3 nonprofit entity. And our employee leasing agreement expired on December 31st, 2019, and the SMC Selco employees were either terminated or retired. So here we are, January 1st of 2020, or I should say January 2nd, we opened our doors as a completely independent organization, devoid of town control in any way. SMC was also removed from the town website, and we launched our own www.shrewsburymediaconnection.org. So 2020 started off extremely strong. January 2nd to March 13th, we facilitated 53 studio shoots. That was on pace to beat our high watermark of 240 studio shoots, which we set in 2013, which was one of the years where there was a Proposition 2.5 override and people were coming in. That spring was just crazy. So then March 15th hits and we close our doors. And it was kind of, well, it was very sad. Didn't see it coming, but here we are. So that caused a lot of shifts to happen. The first one being that town government goes virtual. All municipal and boards and commissions pivoted to Google Meet, and the school committee went to Zoom. So SMC, we are contractually obligated to record and broadcast most government meetings, and we felt that this was even more important during the pandemic when the public couldn't attend in person. So we quickly purchased the equipment to allow us to broadcast these virtual meetings. And on March 18th, we broadcast the first virtual meeting, which was school committee. So while this has been a fairly smooth process overall, the live broadcasting still requires a staff member to be on site for all meetings. So at the height of the stay-at-home order, we're still here because we had to be to make these government meetings go live. So far to date, we've done 119 virtual government meetings. We also assisted with pandemic awareness. State Representative Hannah Kane came in and did 3 different COVID specials. Town Manager Kevin Mizikar utilized SMC for numerous specials and monthly Ask the Manager programs with his COVID updates. Superintendent Dr. Sawyer utilized SMC for weekly updates. We assisted the library director, Priya Rathnam, with her library updates. Dr. Claremont and Dr. Lockery came in and hosted a COVID awareness special. Daily, in some cases weekly, but most of these were daily, we were downloading updates from Dr. Hirsch from the Worcester Department of Public Health, the CDC, the DPH, and the local Board of Health, and making sure that these were running on the government channel to inform the residents. And we still continue to this day to download and broadcast any of Governor Baker's news conferences. So we assisted with the senior population. One of the more important things that happens was the closure of the Council on Aging / Senior Center. And very early on, Holly Luke, who's the director of the COA, reached out and asked if there was some way we could assist them with still keeping programming on for the senior population. So we have daily exercise programs that are geared towards the senior audience. Most of these instructors were doing their classes in person at the COA, but once they closed their doors, the instructors came to us. So Senior Sweat with Dr. C is on every morning, 7 days a week. Same with Fit for Life with Karen McKenzie. She's on 7 days a week. Joe Fish Fitness is also on. And we get a program out of Grafton from a woman named Jennifer Mello, and she does a senior balance program. And here I have a quote from one of the residents saying, "Thank you for Fit for Life and Dr. C, especially with the coronavirus. I totally enjoy them, Sally." And I've been sharing them with the staff when they come in, but we have received more compliments on the senior exercise programs than any programs I think we've ever done. So the senior community is watching them, and it's really important that we know that. So virtually everyone goes virtual. So during the shutdown, we made sure that we were still fulfilling our public access component to help fulfill our mission. And some of the regular shows that I listed here, Miller Chat, Connections with Stacy Lavely, Good Morning Shrewsbury, Coach's Corner, Ladies Night, and the Shrewsbury Historical Society. We've been assisting all of them with doing them through Zoom. We also did a handful of socially distanced specials with Shrewsbury Youth and Family Services, Habitat for Humanity, the Shrewsbury Police Department, League of Women Voters. We did the Hannah Kane Charity Classic. We've done programming with Orchard Grove and the Shrewsbury Council on Aging. That brings us to annual and special town meeting over the summer. So SMC asked to be included in the planning stages of both of these meetings. We were expected and obligated, I guess, in a way to broadcast them live, but there's only 4 locations in town that we can do that from. So we knew it was extremely important to be involved in these discussions. And while it was extremely stressful to try and figure out the logistics and securing the additional equipment we would need, I'm very proud of the effort that was put in by our team and proud of the overall product. It was a great collaboration between SMC and the department heads and officials, and it didn't go unnoticed. So I don't know if anyone got to watch annual town meeting under the tent. I know some of you were there because you're town meeting members, but it was one of those things where it seemed kind of perilous at times, and then when it actually kicked off, it was flawless, except for the ants, but we had no control over the ants under the tent. Virtual specials. So very early on, Angela Snell, who most of you probably know from Parks and Rec and also the Highway Department, she reached out to me and said that Memorial Day was the in-person component of Memorial Day was going to have to be canceled. But she asked if we would organize a virtual Memorial Day. So I worked with her to set up what's called a Dropbox, and she reached out to everyone who would have been in the Memorial Day celebration, from veterans to veterans agents to high school students, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, and everybody self-recorded their pieces from Memorial Day and gave the exact same speeches, exact same music and readings that they would have done in person. They recorded them on their phones, they uploaded them to our Dropbox, and we edited together the Memorial Day special. And as soon as we heard that in-person graduation was going to be canceled, we reached out to Todd Bazidlo, the principal at Shrewsbury High School, and offered our services to do some kind of virtual graduation and commemoration. And this led to a massive coordinated efforts by all parties, from us to the school. The Shrewsbury High School staff recorded quite a bit of this themselves on site. We recorded a lot of it here, and then collectively edited it together and put together what I think were very good commemoration and graduation. And again, it was pretty much exactly how it would have been in person that night with the speeches and everything. They just were recorded ahead of time. And Mr. Bazedlo wanted it played at exactly the same time graduation would have happened. So you tuned in on Thursday night, I believe it was, June 4th, and there was your graduation. It was pretty cool. And then we launched something that I was calling Co-Video, and we asked residents to send us videos of how they were living during the pandemic. They could share recipes, they could share songs, they could just share tips and tricks of how to make it through quarantine. And while I will admit that it wasn't quite the success that I was hoping for, we still got 2 hours worth of programming out of it. So I'm pretty happy with that. But I wanted to share with you a minute and a half or so of one of the videos, and this was the town's co-video. So all the employees in town, well, most of them wanted to be part of this, and they put together this special little video, uploaded like 50 different clips to me, and I was able to edit it together. So I hope this works, fingers crossed.
Today's gonna be a good day. Today's gonna be a good day. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
I still think it's very cute. That was the town employees and department heads, and that's probably only half of it. There's still a good minute or so left of that video. But it was fun to see them taking part in it. So since the the COVID surge, so to speak. The good news is we have received our 501c3 designation, which was retroactive to August of 2018. So we are actually a recognized nonprofit entity. That was a big deal for all of us. And if anyone's ever filed or tried to organize a 501c3, you know the process can be quite daunting. And especially when it's an organization of our size with our kind of assets, it kind of puts you into a whole different ballgame. But anyways, that's in the past now, so it's all good. So we reopened our doors on July 13th and minimally. So we're limiting studio shoots to 2 people, appointment only, no more walk-ins. We've done 68 shoots since July. And total this year, we've uploaded over 500 pieces of content. And if you want to double check that or verify, you can go to our YouTube page. And I would just like to take a minute here to also mention that I don't know if anyone has seen, they're called the face mask angels. So I asked Liz to make a video because she had made me one, or 2 actually, where you take a paper face mask and you make it into an angel, and it's all the rage. It's the holiday ornament of 2020. So on Friday afternoon, she did that and uploaded it to YouTube, and I believe we're already over 8,000 views just since Friday afternoon. So if you want to see it, it's pretty cute. It's on our YouTube page. And if you go to the YouTube page to check it out, I would also ask that you click the subscribe button. We're about 40 subscriptions away from being able to actually monetize the YouTube page, and it might open up some other avenues for us as well, but you need 1,000 subscribers before you can do that. So if you have a Google account, please head on over to YouTube and subscribe. Okay, in the last couple of minutes here, I was going to end by, I just wanted to talk about some of the trends that we're seeing. So SMC, we receive 4.25% of cable TV revenue, and this is through the contract and PEG agreement that we have with the town. This year, or I should say this year. This year was the first decline we've seen in revenue. And this is really caused by what are so-called cable cutters. And it's definitely our biggest threat because it's the biggest threat to our main and only source of revenue. So under the current federal law, it does not classify internet or video over internet as cable TV. And we only receive the revenue from cable TV. So if you're getting your video from what are called over-the-top services like Netflix and those kind of things, Hulu, by law, we're not allowed to get any of that revenue. And also the same with Selco's internet revenue. So, you know, all their internet customers were not a part of that revenue stream. So in 2010, Selco had 12,000 cable TV customers. And in 2020, they have just over 7,000. So statewide, there's been an 11% decrease in cable customers in the last decade, but a 42% decrease in Selco cable TV customers over that same period. And if you look at the numbers, the state puts out these numbers, so they're right there on their website. They're not hidden from view, and you can see for yourself that it's the highest percentage decline in the state, just happens to be with this one cable provider. So Selco has stated publicly that no significant investment will be made to the cable TV plant. However, a $30 million investment is being made to the internet plant. So this would lead one to believe that Selco is probably planning on exiting cable TV business at some point and will focus instead on internet. So what has this cord cutting done for us? Well, it's led to increased viewership via our internet live streams and YouTube page. So our YouTube page last year had 94,000 views. That was before Liz put up the angel thing, so I'm thinking we must have 102,000 now. We've gained, I said 515 subscribers, but we've gained a handful of more since she put up that video, so we're probably looking at more like 530 now that we gained just this past year. And our live stream and video on demand that we host on our own website received 77,000 views. What I found interesting out of those numbers was that 61% of those went to educational access. So these were live streams of school committee, sporting events, mostly I would say school committee and sporting events. 12% were live streams of government access programming, the Board of Selectmen and the Planning Board, and 27% went to video on demand. And in case you don't know the difference, I mean, a live stream literally means it's happening live. So if you want to watch the school committee Wednesday night at 7 p.m., that's a live stream. If you want to go and watch the school committee the next morning, that's video on demand. So what I think is really interesting, though, out of all those numbers is that 75,000 or 98% of all those views came from Selco internet customers. So we are reaching the masses in town. However, we're not reaching them through cable TV. So here we are looking at 2021. And unfortunately, this is going to come as news to some, but I am recommending that we do close to the public again until at least the new year. The last 2-week trend in Shrewsbury is heading in the complete wrong direction. And I'm worrying about the safety of the staff and myself and just the people that are coming in here. So I'm recommending that we at least close to the public for 2 weeks and watch and see where the trend is going and reassess on January 2nd. And if it goes longer than that, I don't think, my own opinion, I don't think we're looking at a 3-month closure again. I think we're just probably looking at a few weeks. I just want to feel comfortable knowing that we're getting through the worst of the surge, staff isn't being put at risk, and then we can reopen again the way we were. And because of this potential studio closure, or maybe future ones, we've definitely seen lessened demand on our portable equipment. And the fact that, as far as I understand it, the town government is planning on staying virtual till at least the summer. And because of that, I'm not recommending that we make many capital improvements in the studio or the town hall. And instead we focused on improving our live stream capabilities and our web offerings. So this should lead in 2021 to SMC having apps that are available for Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, iOS, which is Apple, and Android devices. Right now, you can live stream us on most of those devices, but you have to get to it through a very cumbersome process. So what we're hoping to do is have an actual SMC branded app that would be available in the App Store, and you can download it on any one of these devices and be able to watch us. I'm not saying today that they would be free, because we don't know that. There is a potential to put these behind a paywall and maybe be able to make a little revenue off them. We haven't really had a discussion yet as to whether or not that's the way we want to go, but it is a possibility that they may not be free. I'm looking at a new and improved SMC website. We do have a website up right now, but it's pretty stripped down and bare. We'll be beefing that up to make that better. We recently purchased a unit that's called a Live View, and a Live View will allow us to go live from anywhere. And earlier in this presentation, I mentioned when they were thinking of doing town meeting that there was only 4 locations in town that we can go live from. But with this Live View device, we could literally go live from anywhere as long as there's either internet or cell phone service, we would be able to connect. This is something that we've been looking at for years and years. We were hoping to be able to have this for, okay. Fortunately, I can't mute people while my screen is being shared. With this Live View though, there we go. With this Live View, we used to look at this as sports related. You know, and Mr. Tedisco and John Mastro and those guys, when they were doing the games, you know, when they went up to Gardner on a Friday night, they would travel all the way up there and we couldn't put the game on until Monday because they would have to bring me back the film and I'd have to edit it, and going live wasn't an option. Well, with this live view, it will be an option. So I'm hoping that live sports and in-person sports happens again. But if not, we can also use this for other things. So anything in town that's, if there's something happening at the Common and we want to go live from the Common, that is going to be an option now. So I'm also looking at more community-based projects that will allow residents to submit videos rather than having to come in. And again, that was the idea behind the co-video, was upload your video. We're trying to kick off a community cookbook kind of thing. Myself and Liz, we've uploaded videos of us making some yummy treats up to YouTube. We're hoping that leads to inspiration from others in town to follow suit and to submit their videos. I've reached out to town government and they've spread the word throughout town hall, and there's a handful of people who said they're definitely going to participate. And once we have, 3, 4, 5 videos that we can put out, then I want to put it out to the town and say, look what you can do, and give them some ideas as to how to handle that. We've also thrown out this idea of Shrewsbury Idol, not a music show. It's more, again, if we go into like a lockdown again, how are you spending your time? And maybe if we gave it a cute name like Shrewsbury Idol, people will show us what they're doing during their downtime. Also, so this, I kind of just thought of this the other day, and we need to really start thinking about this, that the Selco cable TV franchise agreement ends in March of 2023. And according to state law, you can start negotiating within 36 months and no later than 30 months. So they're within that window where they may have already reached out to the town manager's office and said that they're interested in signing another 10-year contract. I don't know that. So I will inquire with the town manager and see if those discussions have started. Our contract here, Shrewsbury Media Connection, runs until December of 2023. So our belief is that if Selco signs another cable TV franchise agreement, whether it be 5 or maybe 10 years, 5 years seems to be the norm right now. 10 years used to be the norm. But if they sign another 5-year agreement, then we just assume that the town government would approach us to also sign another 5-year agreement. So with that, I'd just like to thank you all again for coming to our annual meeting and just hearing a little update of where we're at and where we might be going. And also to just let you know again that we do miss you. It's hasn't been the same here, to be quite honest. I'm actually getting kind of emotional. We used to have a lot of fun here with the people, and we're still trying to have fun. It's just, it's not as fun. And so I'm really looking forward to the day where we can open the door again, have you all come in. But unfortunately, I don't think right now is that time. So bear with us. We'll have another closure, like I say, maybe 2, maybe 4 weeks, just to get through the worst of it. And hopefully by the spring, they talk about the vaccine. I'm hoping that it's out and about and making the rounds, and that we can sort of get back to normal life here. So I'm going to try to stop sharing, although I have no control of my mouse at the moment. So this is really interesting. Am I back?
You're there.
All right. So thank you.
All right, thanks, Mark. That's good. Liz, I know that Mark obviously doesn't think you're that fun. He misses all the fun in the office, but I think you're fun, so.
We're having fun in the office. I just mean fun in the studio.
Okay.
The office is always fun.
So now for give a financial report.
Yep. All right, here we go again, trying to share the screen. Can you all see that?
I can see it.
All right. Just going to run down a little bit here. Don't want to get too into the weeds, but This year we received over $21,000 in donations. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that a large portion of that was from the Evelyn Lincourt Trust. Evelyn, or if you maybe have known her as Lynn, was a dedicated and passionate producer here a number of years ago. And then old age and illness caught up to her. And she had told us that she was going to put us in her will. And when she passed, it was many months later that we received a letter. So at that point, I kind of didn't think it was going to happen, or that maybe she just forgot or never got around to it. And then I was just floored one day when I opened the mail and saw that she indeed did do it. So that's where a large part of those donations come. The other largest contributor was that John McDonald's family, when he passed away, they put a GoFundMe kind of thing on Facebook and asked that if people wanted to make donations in lieu of flowers, that they could make donations to SMC. So that was really wonderful. And I did follow up with every donor and send a letter to them acknowledging and thanking them. So interest was just interest from the bank. Other income was, we had a couple of rentals this year. PEG franchise agreement, that $426,000, that is the 4.25% of cable revenue. I don't have the figure for this coming year yet. We should find that out Monday the 21st, but I'm assuming that it will go down. Our high watermark was actually the year before. We were up to 440,000, but then went down to 426, and I don't know what this year is going to be. I'm hoping it's no less than 400, but I guess we'll find out. $721,000 one-time grant was the money that we had left in our savings, so to speak. As we were a town department all those years, we were squirreling money aside, and especially starting in 2016 or 2015, I think actually it was, when they told us that they were going to ask us to break away. We purposely made sure that we didn't make any huge purchases, and we were trying to save money for a rainy day fund, and that is our rainy day fund that came over. So that was a one-time, and we now have the money in our possession. Program income, not a lot this year. Advertising and marketing was really the largest factor there. Was we put new signs out in front of the building. We have 2 new signs from Sunshine Sign Company. I think it really freshened up the outside. Looks bright, cheerful, colorful. That's what that is. Bookkeeping and accounting. Teleview I'll mention here. This is Teleview is the equipment that runs our playback. And we consider ourselves a Teleview facility. We are so invested in their product. And I do like the product, but also it's kind of one of those things where we're in it now. We're in it deep, and kind of have to stick with it. So, which is good, and they've been making improvements to it. So that handles our TV channels. That handles our web streaming. It's the software that we use to do all that programming and everything. Field production supplies. We did buy at least 1 new camera this year. Also bought a new drone, small one, which is really neat. I don't know if anyone's seen the video that I was able to do up at the Common with the Christmas lights on the Common, but that was flying the new drone. And somebody had asked me if I slowed down the shots, and I said, yeah, there's literally one shot that's slowed down, but the rest of it is not. It's actually the drone, this little drone, and it's small. I don't know, it's not much bigger than a pack of cigarettes, and then you unfold the wings on it and it becomes a little bit bigger. But you can fly it so slow. In fact, that I was flying it at my eye height through the Common and kind of walking behind it. And at one point I actually walked faster than it, and I thought I was going to take out my eyeballs. But anyways, yeah, it was fun. But so I hope to start incorporating that more and more into productions, and it's something people have asked about, and I never felt comfortable. I don't think Liz felt comfortable. We had a bigger drone that when Kevin worked for us, Kevin used to fly it, but this new one is just, it's awesome. I'm in love with it. So you'll be seeing more drone footage. And if you have any suggestions, or any recommendations that where might be a great place in town to fly it, send me an email and let me know, because that's one of the things I want to start doing is over Shrewsbury or whatever we're going to call it. Occupancy expense. We do not pay rent here, and I just want to make note of that. That was part of the agreement with Selco. We do pay all of our own utilities and janitorial supplies. Our utilities are actually going to go up quite significantly this coming year because we finally have our own internet service here, and we're paying for a really high-speed business internet class. So it'll be almost $400 a month will be going towards internet. Insurance, which is liability insurance, general insurance, board and directors insurance. Got the call the other day that unfortunately that's going up as well. Part of that is actually COVID related. So that'll be going up a little bit. And our biggest thing is wages and salaries. So without getting too in depth into that, but that's basically our biggest expense. And so you see, at the end of the day, we're healthy. And we have a fairly substantial bank account that should help us in the future. We do, and the board has talked about this, and they know that at some point we do have to start looking at other revenue sources or fundraising. And I'm confident that we will be doing that. It wasn't a priority this year, and especially with the pandemic, it was just like I couldn't in my heart start asking people for money for SMC, knowing that we were in a good financial position at this moment. But moving forward, that is something we are going to have to look at, and the board is aware of that. They've talked about it, and we will be moving in that direction. And that, Mr. Chairman, is my financial review.
All right, excellent. Thank you for that, Mark. And, thanks for, all the effort and attention to detail that you've put into this side of things at SMC. And it's just a lot different now, and you have more responsibilities, especially on the personnel side, which you really didn't have to deal with that much. And getting taxes done and things like that. So, I really appreciate you stepping up and
thank
you. Taking care of that as efficiently as you have. So it's been impressive. All right, what do we have for old business?
I don't think there was anything.
All right, no old business. How about new business? Anything new coming up, or?
If just take a moment just to ask the current board. I sent you a quote for some new equipment, and I also sent you quote for the financial review and audit that we need to have. I don't know if anyone's prepared to move on that tonight.
Mark, when did you send those?
Last week. I'm sorry, I don't remember the date. Last week.
I don't think I got them.
Uh-oh.
Mark, I'd suggest we move those to our next meeting.
Is that okay? Or Mark, is there anything in these quotes that have that need to be done timely?
Definitely the equipment quote for the apps. And I believe there was like a 30-day on the quotes for the audit and financial review. In case anyone's wondering, because I mentioned audit, I don't want you to think we did anything wrong. As a nonprofit entity,
Yeah.
If you have revenue over $500,000, you have to have a full audit. And so we reached that threshold for 2020. So we have to do an audit for 2020, but we've yet to file for 2019. And we were under the threshold, but it still requires what they call a financial review. So I sent this information to the board. It's not cheap at all. But luckily the audit, well, I shouldn't say luckily, it may not be a one-time thing. I mean, if we're successful with fundraising, it could very well end up being something we have to do again. But right now anyways, that's why we need to have an audit. It's just strictly because of revenue.
Okay, I'm gonna put this out to the board if there'd be a possibility to get a quorum for maybe a special meeting in the next, week or so. As far ahead of the holidays we can get, maybe sometime later on this week where we spend 10 or 15 minutes and get this done so we can get the apps. I think the app thing is an excellent idea. I think it's something we need to do. And it's in line with our ability to raise funds, in a more creative way as well. So I'm all for it, but we need to get approval to do that. And of course, I don't know. The audits don't have to take place right now, but we need to get going on that. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, would anybody be interested in doing that? Committing to maybe sometime the end of the week or early next week?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll be willing to sit on that one. Sure.
Yep, sounds good.
What's that? Alden?
I'm around. I'm not going anywhere.
Me too.
Hey, shaking her head, yes? Okay.
Yes.
Nice. Brian?
Yes.
All right, good. And we'll
It should literally be 10 minutes.
yeah, we should
Yeah.
pick a day. Yeah.
I'll email you after the meeting. We can do
The
that.
information's there. It's pretty easy to understand. Mark's got it laid out pretty good. And so shouldn't take much.
Okay.
Mark has to keep it simple for us. Is that it for new business, Mark?
It is.
All right. And okay, so on to member Q&A. I am going to ask that you direct the questions through the chair, just so we don't get into a free for all. So does anyone have any questions for Mark?
Okay. If you do, you may literally have to raise your hand because I'm not seeing anybody. Oh, loose one in.
Oh, let's got some questions. You gotta turn your mic on.
Lou,
Have the mic on, you don't hear me?
I hear you.
Hear you now, Lou.
Okay. Do you have any future plans for news, local Shrewsbury type news program?
We've tossed the idea around. Nothing firm at the moment. The reason being, I believe, we keep looking at the resources that it would take to do that. And in a sense, what's the return on that? If the internet, right now, it's kind of, you're fighting with the internet that kind of beats you to the punch. So we've tossed around ideas trying to figure out what would be like a new way of doing that, something unique. But honestly, I haven't hit upon what I think is the unique way to approach it. Like when a story comes up, you can literally, well, Melanie Petrucci is here, she would know. You can get it on the internet in minutes, but by the time we get video, upload it, edit it, upload it again on the other side and put it out, it's kind of old news at that point. I don't know, Lou, but I'm open to suggestions. So if anybody has any for that idea, please send them to us.
Another question. If you look at PBS, they have all these sponsorships, which are not commercials, but boy, they sure sound like commercials. And
Yep.
I don't see a lot of shows that have any kind of local businesses. That would be an interesting source of revenue, I think.
It is. It's something we can definitely do. One of the new things that's coming out. So the company let me take a step back. We can't have commercials, so to speak, on our TV channels. So on the TV channels, that's governed by FCC law. We have to remain a nonprofit, but we can have, as Lou was saying, like PBS style underwriting, as you would say. And it looks like a commercial. I mean, you even see Ford and Chevy on there, and it looks like a commercial, except there's no call to action. They just kind of tell you who they are and what they have, but there's no call to action. We can do very similar, and we can do that on the channels. On our web streams, we could actually have legit straight out commercials, because the web streams are not governed by FCC law. They don't have to remain on a nonprofit nature. And the company Telview that I mentioned, and these apps that we would be getting through Telview, they're working on a feature now where you could have a commercial reel that would actually play. So if someone clicks on it and say, oh, and they're on their device and they're like, I want to watch the Board of Selectmen live, they're going to sit through 2 minutes of commercials before they get the Selectmen. Well, not 2 minutes, but whatever we choose. And those could be straight up commercials. So it's one of the reasons I'm interested in getting these apps and getting ahead of the game, because once they add that feature, it's something we could look at to take advantage of for some revenue. Anybody else? Any hands up?
Mark, is there any interest in doing a tax show?
We used to have a tax show. Oh, we get too many complaints. People were falling asleep. And, yeah. If you know anybody,
I think it's time. Do another.
if you know any tax guys that want to do our audit, you know, that we could put the audit on TV. That'd be a lot of fun. All right, you wise guy. I should mute him.
I'll do the play-by-play.
Any legit questions out there? All right. So, oh, I'm sorry. I was going to.
I have a question.
Robin? Okay.
Yes. What financial opportunities do you see coming up with YouTube?
Oh, very little, to be honest with you. YouTube, I don't even know anymore what they're doing. I mean, they seem to change it yearly, but you used to, like, if you had millions of hits on a video, you would be making really good revenue. And if you got tens of millions of hits on a video, you would actually be making a great living. That is not the case anymore. And there's examples that people show where they have 4 million views on a video and they literally make like $40. So I don't see YouTube as a great source of revenue. I mean, it might literally just be a handful of dollars every year, but it's something, right? I mean, so unless you have something that goes really viral, and by viral, I mean, at this point, you need probably 20 million or more hits to really start making money on stuff. It's kind of sad. So they're making a lot of money because if half the videos you watch will have a commercial or some kind of ad on it. But yeah, you're not getting that. They're getting it all now. And sad.
What about podcasting?
Most of them, 99% of them, I believe, are free. Is anyone here into podcasts or listen to them? Krista? You offer any? I thought most were free. Was it? Okay.
DJ, you had some experience with that, no?
They are somewhat free, yes. Unless you have sponsors for them too. But then that's a different thing. If for a nonprofit, I think for sponsors, you would have to give them tax deductible write-ups for podcasts.
Yeah, and the ones that have sponsors, I'm assuming that means, yeah, like if you had a sponsor, you're making the money, not SMC, really.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone else? All right, Peter, I think it's election time.
Wait a minute. I know Big Mouth here is going to have
have a word. During this whole pandemic, Mark, I just want to say I think you did a great job. You
Well,
and all your people.
Right. Thank you for acknowledging everyone. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Was not easy.
There were days where it wasn't, but here we are, and we're going to get there. And you guys will be back in here doing your show.
I had a question. Mark, I was wondering what you think it would take to make it seem safe or feel safe to do a regular shoot, or will that, with having a team there and a crew around and multiple people in the studio, do you think that's a long distance away, or is that something it's just kind of game time decisions and we won't really know until we're there? And I echo what everyone else said in the chat. We love you guys. We love all of you. You all help us to be just better people. And I don't know what our community would be without you and your incredible dedication and love of humanity. And thank you, Liz and Mark and Lori and just everyone that, Krista, thank you guys so much. Paul, everyone that's there at the station and have been there for years and years. So thank you.
Thank you. Honestly, Monica, I don't know how to answer your question. I'm not a medical expert, and I kind of just going a lot by what the town does. So, I mean, the reason I'm looking at closing again this week is because they've closed town buildings, and town buildings were closed, but you could do by appointment, and they're not allowing that anymore. And I feel like they have more information than I have, so they must be seeing some trend. Well, we know the trend is going in the wrong direction, but I'm curious if they have even more information showing that the next 2 weeks might be even worse. And so I'm kind of waiting to see. Like I say, that's kind of what I'm going by is once they start opening buildings again, and they say, we can have appointments, the library's open again, then I feel like it's safe for us here. So I honestly can't give you a great answer right now. For me personally, I feel like I just need to see 2 weeks where the trend is heading in the right direction and very positively, not just not just down by 10 cases, but maybe when we get to the point where there are only 10 cases each week, then we can really start opening the doors again. So we'll still, again, I'm saying 2 weeks, that's when we'll reassess, but at that point we would go back to just being able to allow 2 people in, I think. And then just waiting for that, that noticeable drop. That's when we would allow more than 2 people in. So we'll get your show back in here. I need it. Oh, it'll come back.
Mark, Melanie here.
Hello.
Hi. I just give an update on the numbers. They're not trending down. They're continuing day by day. We're like 30, 35.
Yep. Every
day, more. I mean, it's and it's. I don't think it's gonna. I think what we're seeing now is because of people gathering around Thanksgiving.
Sure.
Before that, it was people gathering around Halloween. We still have Christmas coming up. We've got New Year's coming up. And people are going to gather. They're going to do it however they are. And I really don't think you're going to see a drop until January.
And probably mid to late January.
Right.
Right.
And as long as we're in the red, I mean, Shrewsbury was designated a red high-risk community by the state on December 10th. So as long as we're in that red category, I don't see things changing.
Right. And that's
I'm sorry.
No, it's the truth. That's my feeling too. And that's why I'm saying we'll reassess in January, but I don't think it's going to be January 2nd that we feel safe again. I think it's probably going to be later in January into February when we really notice the downward trend. And
right,
like Melanie's saying,
we've doubled our caseload in the last 6 weeks or so.
Yeah. If anybody's interested, I mean, this information is available on the town website and also on our YouTube page. We upload the case count every day. If you subscribe to our YouTube page, you would get that notification. So if you want to keep up with the numbers, and you'll see what Melanie's saying, they've been heading in the wrong direction for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're at something like 1,132.
Yeah.
I did a quick little article this afternoon. It should be on our website, Community Advocate.
So, well, thank you. All right, Mr. Chair.
All right, so moving on to board elections.
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, very early in my little spiel, our bylaws state that the board of directors can expand by as many as 2 seats at this annual meeting. And we did have two people fill out nominations and submit letters of interest. And according to our bylaws, it's to be voted on by the membership. And a member is any Shrewsbury resident or anyone who works in Shrewsbury or is a member of a Shrewsbury-based organization, whether it be a church or a fraternal club or anything like that. So as I look through the room here, you are all members. So if you do want to vote, you can. And I was going to try to put up this poll and see if it works, in which you should be able to click on. And like, as I stated, there's 2 seats, there's 2 candidates, so you can vote for both. We have Nina Mohanka and PJ Null. I don't know if anyone looked at the agenda that I sent out attached to the meeting, but there was a brief bio of each candidate. They will make wonderful additions to our boards and are going to bring us a set of diverse skills that we don't have right now. So I think if you vote them in, I think we're going to be in a very good position to hit the ground running in 2021 and start looking at doing some good things in the future. So let me see if this poll thing works. I hope it does. Otherwise, we're going to do it by hand. Can you see that? No. Can you see it now?
Yes.
I can see it.
All right, so you should be able to click on those names, I hope. Oh, yep, I see it adding up here. Oh man, I love technology.
You're a whiz kid.
Easy
This
peasy.
is great. This has gone so smoothly. I was so nervous. I'm still nervous, but we're almost through the end. All right, has everyone been able to figure it out yet, or? Oh God, I didn't vote. I'm a member. No, I can't. It won't let me. What?
Hey, Mark, just for the record, Sue and I voted both.
But I just did it.
Okay. So we needed a quorum of 20 for the meeting. We reached that quorum, and each candidate received 22 votes. So congratulations, Nina and PJ. You are now official members of the SMC Board of Directors.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, this was great. I am very excited. Lou, you're muted if you were speaking there. Let me see if I can unmute you. All right, you're unmuted.
Isn't it traditional they buy us all drinks?
Yes, yes. Who's open?
We can get them to go. It's
We can get them to go. All right, yeah, we'll meet in the parking lot. Oh, like the old days. Like we're in high school. We can all drink in the parking lot.
Oh, we never did that kind of stuff.
Oh, I'm sure that's true. So, Peter, it says set meeting dates as the next, but I think we were going to do that off.
Well, at least for the next meeting. I mean, we can set it now if you want, if everyone's got a day and time in mind. But,
would this be the real meeting or the 10-minute meeting?
The 10-minute meeting.
Okay.
Do you want to take care of that this week? If it's
I'd
short?
like to get it behind us if we could, because I really want get this tech in and get going. That'd be okay.
How about Thursday night?
Thursday.
Thursday coming up?
Yeah, the
Yes.
17th at like 7:30 or something?
That'll work for me.
For me.
That works.
So Thursday at 7?
Or, well, 7:30, Nina, or 7?
7 is fine. Or
7.
7. I'm open. 7:30 is fine. 7:15.
All right, 7:15, because it should be quick. We'll be done by 7:30. I'll
I
send out,
mean, let us know, Nina, because I don't think it's gonna, I don't think we're gonna be there instead. Hopefully we won't be there for half an hour.
no, we shouldn't. I'll set
So
that up.
Thursday,
All
the
right.
17th at 7:15.
7:15? Awesome.
Is that what you said, Mark?
Yes.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yep.
All right. And the monthly meeting, our next meeting, do you have any idea for that or?
Well, why don't we discuss that at the Thursday meeting?
Okay, all right,
Mm.
good enough. Okay, well, with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn if no one's got any other business.
Happy New Year, everybody, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Same to
I
you.
make a
Thank
motion,
you.
Peter, I make
Okay.
a motion to adjourn.
Happy
Second.
holidays.
And
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
All right. All right.
Bye,
thank you,
everyone. Stay
everybody.
safe,
Have a
please.
great holiday. Stay safe.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night.
Bye.